Hello and welcome to Wait, we'll start again. Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to today's live English lesson here on the AM Language YouTube channel. I hope everyone's had a great weekend. If this is your first time, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button and like the video. If you want to take part in these lessons, join me in the live chat section on these videos so you can take part in these actual lessons. Roberto, good afternoon. Buon pomeriggio. Good day to you. I hope you're doing well and that you've had a very good weekend. Let me make sure that I have the week's program in front of me. I'm going to start off by just telling you guys what you can expect this week in Malta in terms of activities. And in terms of activities, you have the following. Well, today you've got meet and greet, as you normally do on a Monday. Tuesday, which is tomorrow, you've got the option to go to St. John's Cathedral. You also can go to a spa, and you can take part in a football match. Wednesday, you've got the Imdina experience. You have the option of Pilates and the cinema night as well. Thursday, you have the option to do yoga. There's a Valletta by night treasure hunt. Friday, Imdina and Central Highlights sunset tour. The Bachata lesson. I'm not sure how to pronounce that actually. The Bachata or the Bachata lesson on the beach. I'll be honest, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a type of dance. I don't know. Saturday, you've got the Gozo tour, and you've got an option to go to Camino and the Blue Lagoon. Sunday, you've got Popeye Village, the Marine Park, horse riding, as some of your options as well. So that's what you can expect this week. Irina F., good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. Privyet. Leondina, good afternoon to you too. Hope you are doing well. As for the live lessons, this is what you can expect this week on the live lessons. So you have... Well, today it's going to be reporting verbs part 2. Now, last week we looked at reporting verbs, which became really reporting verbs part 1. And in today's lesson, we are going to look at part 2, where we are going to look at 3 more ways of how you can actually use reporting verbs and the structure. Tuesday, own the question. This is really important. This actually, I would say, is very useful to those who are doing exam English, but it's good to know anyway. It's how do you take a general question and how do you own the question, whether it's a written question or a spoken question. If it's general, how do you go about trying to answer, even if you aren't too sure of the topic itself? Wednesday, expressing opinions using discourse markers. This is really important. This is how you can actually engage in conversation with other people, and how to give your opinion, how to acknowledge other people's opinion as well. So again, it would be very, very useful for people who are doing any kind of exam English. It would be useful for business English as well, IELTS, and of course general, because general English, it's always going to be needed. Thursday, you've got clarification, making things clear. This is important. So this is how you guys can try and avoid misunderstandings one another. Phrases that we can use, speaking strategies that we can use to help clarify what you are talking about. Really important. On Friday there won't be a lesson. So Friday there's no lesson because I won't be able to give a lesson on Friday. And then next week it'll be back to 5 days a week. So not to worry about that. Obviously, the Easter period is coming up as well. So if there are any changes to the times, or if there's particular days where a lesson might not happen, I will, of course, let you know. And before we get into today's lesson, Yuli, hello, good afternoon. There's a new video up as well. Because it's a Monday, it's a short video. It's on the past simple part 1. Make sure you watch it and share and like and share. Obviously, for many of you, for some of you, you might think to yourself, well, I know how to use the past simple, and maybe you don't need to learn the past simple again. However, you might know someone who does need to learn what the past simple is. Maybe a friend who is looking to learn English. Share the videos with them. We now have 6 short videos that explain different language points, and we're going to continue this, and hopefully we'll end up with a nice library of videos that can take you through different types of explanation of how to create and use language. So thank you very much. Now we've got the beginning of the video over, the lesson over. Let's dive in. So last week we looked at 3 types of verbs, verb patterns. Now I'm just going to remind you guys of what we looked at. So number 1 over here. Oh, nope, let me go again. Okay, so for number 1, last week we looked at this. This was the first one we looked at, and for example, I agreed to meet on Friday. He refused to take his coat off, for example. So those were some of the examples last week. For number 2, we then had a look at this one. And we looked at some examples. So number 2, verb plus object plus infinitive. So you've got Tom advised me to go home. She reminded me to telephone my mother, or call my mother, really. I think call would be a better one, to be honest. Number 3, we finished on number 3, actually. This is the verb plus gerund, and we ended up with some sentences such as, oops, what did I do? There we go. Such as, they recommended taking the bus, for example. She suggested meeting a little earlier, again, another example. So this makes it really, here you can see the building blocks of the different type of verb patterns we can use. Now, this time, we're now going to introduce this one here, though. So this is number 4. And we're introducing a particular a language element that can be really, really annoying. Verb plus object plus preposition. This can be really, really frustrating. The verbs we're going to look at is accuse, blame, and congratulate. And I'm just going to give you some examples because there's something very important that we need to understand. Okay, so here are some examples. Okay. He accused me of taking the money. They congratulated me. They congratulated me on passing all my exams. She blamed me for losing the game. Now, this is the important question when we are looking at this type of verb pattern, this reporting verb, these reporting verbs. Okay, we've got a preposition to think about here. Now, I've given you 3 examples. My question is, what is the preposition of A, blame, B, congratulate, C, accuse? What are the prepositions that go with these verbs? Because just because you've got a pronoun that's separating the verb and the preposition, we still have a dependent preposition. These prepositions are very rarely going to change in some cases because these are verbs. It depends on the verb. Like if you've got make, okay, make, you've got loads and loads of prepositions you could link with make. But some prepositions, this is not so. Sorry, but with some verbs, this is not the case. In many cases, you will have verbs, and you only have 1 or 2 prepositions you can really choose. So Leondine has said for A, blame is for, blame for. B, congratulate on, and C, accuse of. Well, if you agree with Leondina that these are the prepositions that go with these verbs, let me know in the live chat section below. Tell me that you agree. If you disagree with Leondina, also let me know. Roberto says that he agrees with Leondina. Okay, in which case I'm going to ask, can you guys then I'm going to ask you to see if you guys can create your own sentences with this. But I mean, if you look at these sort of verbs, accuse, blame, congratulate, let's see. Okay, so all of you agree, and I can tell you that the answers are A, yep, it's for, because you're going to have blame for, okay? You are blamed for something. B, you've got congratulate, which is on. Congratulate on. And C, you've got of. Accuse of. Or accused of, really. Okay. So my question is this. Can you complete these sentences for me? You need to choose the verb and you need to choose the preposition. You cannot use the same verb twice. 1. Two, and 3. Okay, let's see how you guys do. Now, I've given you the pronoun that breaks this up. So let's see what you guys go with. There could be more than one correct answer, but the trick here is that you cannot use the same verb twice. So you should be able to use each verb once, and that means you have to, whatever verb you use, you need to think about the preposition. Remember, it's verb, object, preposition. So one, they blank the government blank line to the nation. Now, I know I've gone, the object of your sentence doesn't have to be a pronoun. It can be something else, like the government, the building. But as you can see here, it's quite common to go with a pronoun. Do she blank herself blank ruining the party? Remember, this is reported speech, reporting verbs. So this should be in the past. So if they're regular verbs, it should be ed ending, for example. And finally, 3, he blank her blank being promoted. Leontina has said, number 1, they accused the government of lying to the nation. 2, she blamed herself for ruining the party. And 3, he congratulated her on being promoted. Well, if you agree with those answers, let me know. Yuli has come in with the same answers, so that should be encouraging to see that. Now, these are just 3 examples, 3 verb examples. My advice here is when you come to doing this sort of thing, make sure you know what preposition you can use with the verb, because that will make a difference. Roberto has said number 1, they accused the government of lying to the nation. 2, she blamed herself for ruining the party. And 3, he congratulated her on being promoted. Well, I can tell you guys that you have all got the correct answers. So excellent, really well done there. We're off to a fantastic start. So answers as follows. Well done. We're off to a great start there. And like I said, guys, make sure you always, this is the trick, make sure you know the preposition that goes with that verb. I do recommend certain websites. I can, for instance, recommend, I'm going to recommend this particular website. It's called Lexico. It's powered by by Oxford Dictionary. And the great thing about, you can see it here in the live chat section. The great thing is it gives you, yes, it'll give you synonyms, but it will also give you lots of example sentences. And when you can see lots of example sentences, that's when you can begin to see, okay, this is how the word is used. So, for example, let's say we go with, okay, so feel free, go with one of these words, okay? And you can type the word in, and then you can see what alternatives come up, okay? Actually, I'm going to throw in another word here, okay? You guys need to decide what the preposition is. So let's see how you guys do with this one. So it's about trying to guess what the preposition is. I don't want to give it away. What do you think the preposition is for praise? Praised in the past. They praised her doing well in the exams. What do you think the preposition is? We'll see how many of you can get this one. Haven't told you what the preposition is. I haven't given you an option, but let's see what you guys come out with. Roberto says the answer here is going to be of. Okay, if you agree with Roberto that it's praised of, let me know. Do you think it's of? Some of you think it's for. So they praised her of doing well in the exams. They praised her for doing well in the exams. Okay, the answer? It's for. Praised for doing well. So the preposition of praise is for. Praised for. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This time, just a slight change. Again, we've got this annoying preposition element. Because this is now number 5. Okay, verb pattern number 5. Verb, preposition, gerund. Now, the sort of verbs you could use would be apologize, insist, and you could go with the sample sentence. But I'm not going to tell you what the preposition is. I want to see what you guys come out with. Okay. So here you guys need to, again, can you tell me what you think the preposition is? Apologize, blank, not coming. That would be a negative, of course. He insisted, B, insisted, blank, having dinner. Again, I haven't given you the preposition. I want to see if you guys already know what the preposition of these words are. What do you guys think? Okay, so Roberto has said for and on. Leondine agrees it's for and on. Okay, right. If you guys agree with both Roberto and Leondina, let me know in the live chat section. Like I said, you can always go to Lexicon, and it's a good website, and you can find out what. You can always find out some examples as well. You can find out synonyms. What do you guys think? Okay, well, I'll tell you what the answers are, since you all agree. And the answers are A, for, and B, on. Now, I'm going to throw in two synonyms, okay? I'm going to throw in a synonyms. So this is now C. They regretted blank not attending the event. And the other one I'm going to throw in, and D. Now, what you'll notice is regretted, demanded. Regretted is potentially it can be a synonym of apology, apologized, and demanded. Yeah, this is a synonym of insisted. The question is, do you think there's any change in the preposition? Or do you think we need different prepositions for C and D? Are we saying does regretted need a different preposition, or is it for as well? Is demanded on, or do we need a different preposition? So Leondine has said they regretted for not attending. So in which case that would be no difference. They regretted for not attending the event. D, he demanded. Okay, so all of you are saying of. Okay. He demanded of having the meeting rescheduled. Roberto, though, thinks that there's no preposition needed with regretted. Okay, well, this is a really good experiment, and I can tell you the following. Okay, the answer C is for. You apologize for, I regret for. In this case, when you've got the gerund, he regretted for not attending. He apologized for not attending. He regretted for not attending. Okay. D, he insisted on having the meeting. He demanded on having the meeting. So here we can see that with the synonyms, in this case, the preposition remains the same. I'm not going to say this is the case every single time because there will always be exceptions. But as a good rule of thumb, if you don't know, but you know what the preposition is for a synonym of the word, if you're not too sure, it's not a bad guess to go with the same preposition that you would use for a synonym. So if you know that demand and is a synonym for insist, and you know it's insist on, and you don't know what the preposition is for demand, but you know that it's a synonym, it's not a bad guess to go with the same preposition. It doesn't mean you're going to get it right every time, but you increase the probability of you getting it right. So that's a good general rule of thumb for that one. Well done, guys. Doing well. Now we're on to the last one. This, I don't know. I don't think this is necessarily the hardest. This is a fairly common one. Let's see. So the last one is verb, subject, verb. Now, there are a lot of potential verbs here. You could go with admit, agree, decide, deny, explain, insist, promise, recommend, and suggest. And there are more, obviously. What are we looking at? Well, we're looking at this sort of thing. And I'm just going to, because it's optional, and I should add this, okay, the subject is optional. But I'm not going to tell you what the answer of the optional is. I'm going to give you an option of what you think it is. There's not going to be any change in this one. What do you guys think? That or which? That or which? Sarah decided that the house needed cleaning. Sarah decided which the house needed cleaning. They recommended that we take the bus. They recommended which we take the bus. What do you think the correct word is here between that and which? And it's talking about the subject. Okay, we're still talking about the subject, but what do you think? Which one makes the most sense? All of you are saying that, yep, okay. And look, you are correct, because the answer is, but like you can see, this is optional. She decided the house needed cleaning. They recommended we take the bus. Adding the subject, adding that, is an optional extra. If you're including that, maybe you are including it to stress the subject, but it's optional. It's not always needed. Okay, so we've now spent half an hour looking at the other 6. So the question is for this one, I'm going to ask you for number 6. Can you create your own sentences with the following verbs? You need to create 3 sentences using 3 different verbs. Okay, so this is we're still on number 6. This is the task. These are the options. Okay, so these are the options of the verbs. You now need to try and create 3 of your own sentences, and you have to use 3 different verbs, and you have to create it around the structure shown over here. So it's verb, subject, verb. Let's see who can come up with the answers the fastest. They recommended that we take the bus. Again, you sometimes need to think about the pronoun that you might need. The house, because it's still part of the subject. That's the other thing. The pronoun is still part of the subject. So let's see how you guys do and what your answers are. And that really then means that we have gone through the 6 main verb patterns. It's just then the question of, can we produce the language ourselves? And then we'll go into an activity where you guys have to try and play around with the different verb pattern structures. So your options here: admit, agree, decide, deny, explain, insist, promise, recommend, and suggest. Those are your options. Let's see if you can create 3 different sentences. And then I'm going to open it up. Apologies. Oh gosh. And then we're going to open it up whereby you guys are going to have to try and do a little bit more. Maybe think of, I'm going to introduce the difficulty of synonyms, because I want to concentrate a little bit more on the others. This one is perhaps the easiest of them all. But let's see what you guys come up with. Let's see if I can think of one. Okay, so for example, if you're thinking of anyone, you could always try explain, for example. Let's see, in terms, if just remind ourselves of the structure as well. Verb, subject, verb, of course. So Leondina has come in with, they admitted that they were wrong. Okay, yeah, I see what you've gone with there. You've gone with the verb to be specific, rather than just a verb. I mean, if you want to use admitted, you could say that they admitted that they took the wrong bus, for example. Yuli says, we agreed to meet the following day. That's not going to quite work with the structure that we're looking at, Yuli. So don't forget, we need verb, subject, verb. Unfortunately, we don't have verb, subject, verb there. We agreed to meet. So you got agreed, which is a verb. To meet is a verb, but we don't have anything in between. So have another go. Roberto says the manager of the school admitted they enrolled the course. They enrolled. You enrolled the course. I agreed that you chose this opportunity. Don't worry about that last sentence. They enrolled. You have to enroll someone in the course. Okay. You enroll someone in a course. Okay. They enrolled. The manager of the school admitted admitted that they enrolled a new student on the course, for example. So, Roberto, that would have worked. They admitted that they enrolled a new student on the course. That example there, that would work. Let's see. I'm going to give you guys just a little bit more time. Maybe you guys can come up with another sentence or two. Maybe I could give you an example and see if you guys can finish it. So let's see how many of you guys can get this one right. I'm just going to say A over here. They blank that we blank a taxi. My clue is to suggest an idea and the verb take. Leondina says she explained that I missed the meeting because of unforeseen issues. Unforeseen issues, unforeseen circumstances. Unforeseen. Go for unforeseen. Okay, Leondina. Because here you're talking about the past as well. Roberto says, I decided that I will come with you. Good. My dad denied that he gave me the grant to come. My dad denied that he gave. Yep, that works. Well done, Roberto. Okay, some good answers in the end over here, guys. I'll just see if you guys can finish the question A for this last one, and that will then take us to the end of today's lesson. We'll see what you guys say. Okay, I have given you a big clue in terms of the two verbs. They blank that we blank a taxi. Okay, so that gives you should give you a pretty good idea what you should be looking to go for on this one. But overall, I think you guys have done quite well. So I'll give you 30 more seconds to answer A. They suggested that we could take a taxi. Well, I didn't provide a modal verb as an option, but I will accept that as an example, as an answer, because it should be suggested and take. So well done, Roberto. That is correct. Okay, so that takes us to the end of today's lesson, where we've been looking at reporting verbs part 2, and I think it's safe to say that you guys have done really well. And make sure that you get to that you develop your knowledge on the type of prepositions that go with certain verbs. Really is very important. Makes things a lot easier as well once we know the answers. A big thank you to Roberto, Leondina, Yuli, Irina F for your contribution in today's lesson. Thank you very much. A big thank you to everyone else who has been watching. Make sure you like the video and make sure you watch the new short video that was uploaded earlier today. I will be back tomorrow at the same time, 3 o'clock, with another live lesson. And tomorrow's lesson, if I just remind myself, I think it's owning the question. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at the same time with owning the question. Make sure you join me for that. Leondina says, thank you, Richard. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow as well, Leondina. Roberto says, thank you very much, Richard. Have a nice evening. Take care. You too, Roberto. Irina F says, thanks, Richard. Have a good evening. You too, Irina F. Thank you very much. Yuli says, thank you too. Take care and see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining the lesson today. Well, guys, really well done. Best of luck to those students who are taking their level test tomorrow. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 3 o'clock. Take care and bye for now.